kick it off with an opening statement.
Sure. Well, for us, really, really, really good road win for the collective. Good road win for us against a really well-coached football team and a quality of opponent. I thought we reaped the benefits, obviously, of the fast start being up 17-0 in the first quarter. I think what you saw there is team football. We played complementary football. We were opportunistic. Overall, we were obviously able to impact the quarterback. I thought we controlled vertical field position most of the game, but that's also the most disturbing thing is we didn't take advantage of winning the vertical field position game from an offensive standpoint. Really appreciative of our players' efforts, their mindset, their mentality. However, a lot of things that we have to get better at in a hurry and a lot of things that are very conducive to winning against the schedule that we have left, especially against a Southern Miss football team that is as good as any team I've seen for a long time being in the Sun Belt. So we have to lean into the many challenges that this week has. But again, in closure, really, really good road win for us. It's really hard to win on the road in this conference, and it's really hard to win at Troy. So again, really appreciative of our players, but now we have to move forward on the monumental task at hand.
We'll open up now for questions. We'll start off with Luke Matheson.
Well, Coach, obviously, let's look back a few weeks since Kennesaw State, more especially. I know that was a game that you wasn't happy with, and for obvious reasons. And since then, this team has really stepped up their game. You're sitting here with a chance this weekend to do something very special. I want to ask you about where this team has come since Kennesaw State, but also ask you about Southern Miss and what you expect from them this weekend, what we should look for.
Well, I'm going to say it again is nobody truly understands the importance and the value of scheduling at the group of six level. And we're all a byproduct of our scheduling and our non-conference scheduling as well. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's why it's hard, you know, to build programs and to win at the group of six level is we don't have the luxury of places I've been in the past where you go by a non-conference schedule and you're 3-0, you're 4-0, your players believe and you have momentum. And we've not shied away from our non-conference scheduling. And I think what we also have found out that Kennesaw, people don't know much about that program, but they're a really good football program. And the last time I checked, I think they're 6-2 and they're bowl eligible. That doesn't happen by chance. But you look at the way, we were growing and kind of evolving at that point in time when you have 70 newcomers that, you haven't been around each other. And really the first time they've played competitive football together is in August. You have to stay the course and you have to, you know, trust the process every day of getting better. And I think our players have done that. They haven't blinked. Our connection, our style of play, they've been a great group to coach because they've been very eager and very willing. They listen to everything that you say. And so we've just stayed the course. And, the injury bug has hit us the last few weeks. And, we've had other individuals step up. And I always say is, it's when you least expect it, someone's going to have an opportunity to play. So I can't say enough about our resolve, our resiliency. Usually in a long season, you'll have maybe one or two culture wins, but a lot of our wins have been culture wins. We spend a lot of time with our culture, even in today's world, in the current landscape of college football. We spend a lot of time with that culture and that connection, style of play, expectations, and sometimes it takes longer. I look back, at the Kennesaw game, but the Monroe game as well. And I think sometimes to get to a point where you are, you need to go through those trials and tribulations. That's about building a football team. And I've always said it is the programs and teams that can manage the natural adversities of a long football season are usually going to be the ones that play meaningful games in November. And we put ourselves in positions now to, that every game is meaningful from here on out. And that's a tribute to them.
Let's jump over to Billy.
Yeah, Coach. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this last weekend. You guys had 9 sacks, really limited what Troy could do offensively because of that defensive penetration. Talk a little bit about how important that's going to be this weekend, where you really, Braylon has shown that he can be one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in this league. How important that's going to be, that penetration and that defensive pressure.
Well, just, not giving up explosive plays, and they force you to execute. They force you to play in space. They force you to tackle. Uh, Quarterback is a dynamic player, deserving of all his honors, deserving of all the expectations in terms of preseason conference player of the year. They do a great job in terms of getting their skill players, their hands on ball and creating space and really putting the ball in play. I think that's the whole key is the ability of the quarterback to put the ball in play. And they're big up front. So again, they're extremely talented. And then defensively, as good of a defense that we faced all year. So it is going to be a challenge. They force you to execute. They force you to play with patience. And they force you really to cover the entire length of the field, both horizontally and vertically. And they force you to play in space and create a lot of one-on-one matchups.
We'll take one more here from Luke.
Big game this week. I've seen Jury and a couple of guys from Sports Information put out about possibly the most important game in Centennial Bank Stadium since 2019. Two things. One, what's your message to your team this week and also the fan base for an 11 a.m. game trying to get people in the stadium?
Well, I think first of all, it's all about respecting the process and how you prepare. And today is no different. We have three really, really key games left, and they're all the same magnitude. So, you treat every week, it's the most important week because it's the only week that matters. So it'll be business as normal and usual for us. None of that changes. In terms of fan support, I mean, this is college football. What else would you want? Two good football teams going at it, nationally televised game, 11 a.m. I expect our fans to show up. They've been great the entire season, but if you don't want to come out for this game, then when would you want to come out? And I think, as our fan base grows, there's a difference. We got to get away from the matter of convenience. When am I going to attend the game when it's convenient? Um, and our fans have been great with that. But, at the end of the day, it's what we do in our preparations, starting with today and then moving on to Tuesday. But, I expect our fans to show up. We have a lot of great community leaders. And you look at their football team, they've gone on the road and they've won. You look at the environment that they played in at Georgia Southern. I believe that game was sold out. And I think their team, you can tell they have a swagger about themselves. You can tell that they enjoy being in those type of environments. So again, for us, it gets down to really what we do on a daily basis with the way we practice, the way we prepare. But our fans are a big part of what we're doing here, and they've been a big part to this time and to this date and time.
Thank you, Coach Jones. Appreciate the time today.
Okay, have a great rest of your week.